What if the way you live your day is the exact reason you feel stuck in your life? It's not the big decisions that break us, it's the small, invisible choices we make every day, the ones we think don't matter. Hitting snooze instead of rising early, reaching for your phone instead of your journal, complaining instead of taking action. These moments seem harmless, but over time they shape your mindset, your habits, and your future. And deep down, you feel it. That tension in your chest, that quiet voice inside that whispers, you're made for more, but more doesn't come from waiting. It doesn't come from hoping your life magically improves. It comes from doing the uncomfortable daily work that no one sees. That's where change begins. Not in some distant future, but in the next breath, the next choice, the next sunrise. You already know what's wrong. You felt it, the frustration, the anxiety, the endless scrolling and the constant noise that numbs your potential. You've had nights where you promise yourself tomorrow will be different, but tomorrow comes. And it looks a lot like today. Because motivation isn't the problem. Clarity is, discipline is, belief is. And here's the truth. Most people won't tell you you don't need to completely change your life overnight. You don't need to burn everything to the ground. You just need to improve the small daily things. The things you think are too small to matter. But they do matter more than you know. Because when you change your day, you change your direction. When you shift your habits, you shift your identity. That's the reward waiting for you. That's why you're still listening. Because a part of you is tired of being in survival mode, tired of running in circles, tired of wondering why your life doesn't feel like it's moving forward. You want more purpose, more energy, more clarity, and you can have it. But it won't come from one big moment. It will come from mastering the small ones. So if you're willing to get real with yourself, if you're willing to stop waiting for permission, stop making excuses and start showing up, we'll walk through the exact things you can do daily to improve your life from the inside out. Not just to be more productive, but to feel more alive, to rise each morning with direction, to go to sleep knowing you live with intention. This isn't about chasing perfection, it's about building momentum. One choice at a time, one habit at a time, one day at a time. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you'll know exactly what needs to change. And more importantly, you'll feel ready to change it. No fluff, no hype, just real, practical, powerful steps you can take today, not someday, today. Let this be the line in the sand. The moment you stopped existing and started living, you don't need to settle. You don't need to stay stuck. You just need to begin. Right here, right now. You've been living with noise in your head for so long that silence feels unfamiliar. But silence is where the truth lives. And the truth is you already know what's holding you back. You just haven't slowed down enough to face it. Every morning before your feet touch the ground, your mind is already racing. To-do lists, worries, doubts, distractions. The day starts and before you've even taken control, it's running you. But what if you flipped that? What if you started the day with intention instead of reaction? What if your first thought was discipline, not dread? That's how you reclaim your life, by taking back your mornings. The way you start your day sets the tone for everything that follows. If you begin with stress, everything feels like a battle. But if you begin with clarity, the chaos can't control you. That's not motivational fluff. That's neuroscience. Your brain is most impressionable right after waking up. It's called the alpha state, and it's where your thoughts and emotions are most easily shaped. Waste that window on meaningless scrolling, and you've already given your power away. But use it with purpose. Read, reflect, move, breathe, and you anchor yourself in control, in power, in peace. And that one shift, it changes how you talk to yourself, how you handle problems, how you show up. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop chasing and start leading. The world is loud and it will always try to own your attention. But the most powerful people in the world are the ones who master their mornings, not just to be productive, but to protect their energy, their vision, their values. They know that discipline is freedom, that structure creates space, that success doesn't come from what you do occasionally. It comes from what you do consistently. No one's coming to rescue you from your patterns. No one's going to hand you a better life. And that's not a reason to feel hopeless. That's your power. You are the one, the only one. And if you build just one habit, start your day with intention, it will cascade into every part of your life. You'll eat better, think clearer, speak with more confidence. You'll stop numbing and start feeling. You'll stop doubting and start deciding. This doesn't mean waking up at 4 a.m. just because some guru said so. It means waking up on purpose, even just 30 minutes earlier, even just 10. Use that time to do something for you, not for the world, not for your job, not for your feed, but for your future self, the version of you that's waiting to rise, the one that's been buried under years of distractions, doubts, and delay. This is where it starts, not in the middle of the chaos, but in the quiet before it. When you decide who you're going to be today, before the world decides for you, you don't need to fix your whole life in a day. But if you can win your morning, you can win the day. And when you start winning enough days, your life changes, slowly, then suddenly. That's how transformation works. It sneaks up on you, disguised as routine, disguised as repetition. But that repetition becomes identity, and identity becomes destiny. And it all begins when you stop waking up by accident and start waking up with purpose. You've heard the phrase, you are what you repeatedly do, but have you ever truly stopped to ask what you're repeatedly doing? Not just the big, obvious habits, but the subtle patterns, the ones hiding in plain sight, the way you talk to yourself when you make a mistake, the way you avoid the hard conversations, the way you retreat into comfort when life asks for your courage. These aren't random behaviors, these are rituals, and every ritual either pulls you closer to your potential or further from it. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And right now, those systems, your daily habits, are either silently building your future or slowly destroying it. Let that sink in, because this is where most people get stuck. They want a different life, but they keep living the same day. They want confidence, but keep repeating self-doubt. They want strength, but keep giving in to weakness. They want success, but keep choosing comfort. And it's not because they're lazy. It's because they haven't built the habits that make success inevitable. Your habits are your autopilot. They're the actions you take without thinking. So if you don't design them with intention, they will default to convenience. And convenience kills progress. Think about the tiny habits you've allowed to grow. Scrolling through your phone for hours, skipping workouts, eating what numbs you instead of what fuels you. Procrastinating until pressure forces your hand. These aren't bad decisions in isolation, but stacked over time, they become a life you never intended to live. But here's the most powerful truth. Just as you built these patterns, you can unbuild them. You can rewrite your routines, rewire your brain, redesign your path. You're not locked into the person you were yesterday. You are changeable, trainable, moldable. Your brain is not fixed. It's neuroplastic, which means every choice you make is shaping it, strengthening some connections, weakening others. You're either wiring yourself for growth or decay. So start small, start deliberate. Replace one habit at a time. Don't try to change everything. Just change something. Start drinking water first thing in the morning. Start writing down your goals every night. Start moving your body every day, even if it's just for 5 minutes. Start choosing the hard thing on purpose so it becomes easier later. Each time you do something uncomfortable but aligned with who you want to become, you cast a vote for that version of you. Do it enough times and it no longer feels forced. It becomes natural. You don't have to push yourself forever. You just have to push long enough for it to become who you are. And that's the key. Don't chase motivation, build identity. Because when your habits match your vision, you stop needing discipline. You become the kind of person who does it without question. That's how change lasts. Not through hype, but through systems, through small, consistent, intentional habits that stack up like bricks. Until one day you look around and realize you built a new life. One choice at a time. If you want to change your life, stop asking for the results. Start building the rituals. They will take you there. Quietly, powerfully, permanently. Every action you take is a vote for the kind of person you want to become. But here's the part most people miss. So is every inaction. Every time you avoid the work, you're not just delaying progress. You're reinforcing the belief that you're not capable, that you're not disciplined, that you're not worthy of more. And your brain listens, it learns, it builds identity from your patterns. It starts to believe that comfort is safer than growth, that failure is too painful to risk, that trying is pointless. And that belief, it becomes your cage. But the door is open. It always has been. You just forgot how to walk through it. You don't need to wait until you feel brave to begin. Courage doesn't come before action. It comes from action. You act despite the fear, and the fear begins to lose its power. You show up even when you're unsure, and confidence grows in its place. You try, you fail, you try again, and each time you become someone new, someone stronger, someone more aligned with the future you crave. That's how transformation begins, not in the grand gestures, but in the tiny defiant moments when you choose growth over comfort, when you say yes to discomfort because you know your old life can't hold your potential anymore, when you stop asking if you're ready and start acting like you are. But let's be honest, change hurts. Letting go of your old self is painful. Breaking habits feels like tearing muscle. And that's not weakness, that's proof you're growing. The resistance you feel isn't a sign to stop. It's a sign you're right where you're supposed to be. Real growth doesn't feel like motivation. It feels like struggle. It feels like doubt. It feels like effort. But hidden in that effort is the life you've been waiting for. Your future is not built in comfort. It's forged in friction, in sacrifice, in discipline. That's where resilience is born. That's where pride comes from. Not the fake kind that needs applause, but the deep kind that lives in your bones. The kind that whispers, I didn't quit on myself today. When you stack enough of those days together, something changes. Not just in your habits, but in your self-respect, in how you see yourself. You stop chasing shortcuts. You stop needing validation. You stop settling for less because now you know what you're capable of. And once you know, you can't unknow. That is the reward of consistency. That is the prize discipline offers. Not just results, but identity. Not just change, but ownership. And if you're tired of starting over, tired of breaking promises to yourself, tired of feeling like you're behind, this is how you catch up. You don't need to move fast. You just need to move forward every single day. Especially on the days you don't feel like it. Especially then. Because those are the days that separate the person you've been from the person you're becoming. This is your moment to decide who you want to be. Not tomorrow, not next year. Now. It's time to stop waiting for the perfect moment. It's time to start building it, one action at a time. If you want a different life, you have to start living like the person who already has it, not someday. Not when it's easy, not when you feel ready. Right now. Because the way you speak, the way you walk, the way you breathe, these are not just habits. They are signals to your mind, to your body, to your future. Every time you hesitate, shrink, or play small, you reinforce the identity of someone who isn't ready. But every time you stand tall, take action, and move forward with purpose, even in fear, you begin to rewrite that identity. This is deeper than motivation. This is identity engineering, and it's backed by science. Your brain is always watching you. Every choice you make tells your subconscious who you believe you are. So when you consistently act in alignment with your goals, even when it's hard, your brain starts to believe you. It starts to trust you. And that self-trust, that's the foundation of unstoppable momentum. You don't need more goals. You need to become the person who follows through, the one who keeps promises even when no one's watching, especially when no one's watching, because that's where real power is built, in silence, in solitude, in the moments when quitting is easy and you choose to keep going anyway. Your mind will try to protect you. It will whisper old stories. You failed before. You're not disciplined. This is just another phase. But those are echoes of an outdated identity. They're not facts. They're just habits of thought. And habits can be broken. So start interrupting the pattern. When that voice tells you to skip the workout, show up anyway. When it says your dream is too far away, take the next small step. When it tells you to rest in your comfort zone, lean into the edge. Because that edge, that resistance is where change lives. Most people wait to feel confident before they act, but confidence is not the beginning. It's the result. It's the outcome of choosing courage over and over until it no longer feels like a fight. That's how you build the kind of confidence that doesn't need noise, the kind that lives in your spine. It's time to stop negotiating with your excuses, time to stop feeding your limitations with your attention. What you focus on grows. Focus on your fear, and it expands. Focus on your potential, and it sharpens. You get to choose what you build with your energy. And yes, you will fall. You will miss days. You will have setbacks. That doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. But what separates the strong is what they do next. They don't let a bad moment become a bad day. They don't let a setback become an identity. They reset, refocus, and return stronger. You don't need to do this perfectly. You just need to do it consistently. This is the shift from hoping to deciding, from trying to becoming. You're not here just to survive. You're here to evolve, to shed what no longer fits, to rise into the life that already belongs to you, if only you're willing to claim it. So claim it. Every time you act like the person you want to be, you step into that reality. Until one day you don't have to pretend anymore. You are that person. And it all began with one choice, one moment, just like this. You don't need more time. You need more focus. Because time isn't what's holding you back. It's distraction. It's mental clutter. It's the hundreds of things stealing your attention, inch by inch, until you're left drained, uninspired, and overwhelmed. You're not tired because you've done too much. You're tired because you've been pulled in too many directions that don't matter. Clarity is power. When you know what you want, you stop chasing everything else. When you get brutally honest about your priorities, you stop saying yes to things that drain you. When your mind is clear, your energy becomes a weapon. Sharp, purposeful, unstoppable. But clarity doesn't just arrive, you have to create it. That means turning down the noise. That means protecting your focus like it's sacred. Because it is. Your future depends on it. Every goal you have, every dream you want to chase, every version of you that you know is possible, it all begins with what you choose to give your attention to today. Every notification, every distraction, every meaningless task is a trade. You're exchanging your potential for a fleeting hit of comfort or approval. And it's costing you more than time. It's costing you your presence, your peace, your power. Focus isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters. It's about waking up and asking what actually moves me forward, and then having the discipline to follow through, even when everything else tries to pull you off course. It's about removing what's not aligned so what is can rise to the surface. Most people never take the time to ask, what do I really want? So they live in reaction, bouncing from urgency to urgency, wondering why their life feels like someone else is driving. But you don't have to live like that. You don't have to let the world decide what your day looks like. You can take the wheel right now. Start by simplifying. Stop trying to do everything. You don't need to master 10 things at once. Master one. Lock in. Go deep. Pour your energy into what actually matters. One habit, one goal, one skill, and let everything else wait. This is how legacies are built, not through scattered energy, but through concentrated force. You are capable of so much more than you've allowed yourself to believe, not because you aren't working hard, but because your power has been diluted. And when you finally channel it with intention, you'll surprise yourself with what you can do in a month, in a year, in a lifetime. The most successful people in the world don't have more hours. They have more clarity. They know what matters, and they protect it. They cut fast. They say no often. They build environments that support their vision, and they understand that mental energy is finite, so they guard it fiercely. That's what you must do now. Guard your focus like it's your future, because it is. Create boundaries, prioritize recovery, eliminate noise, and give yourself permission to go all in on what matters most. When you learn to master your focus, you stop living distracted. You stop chasing surface level validation. You start living with depth, with intention, with conviction. And from that place, you don't just move forward. You accelerate, not with stress, not with burnout, but with clarity, confidence, and fire. You don't need more time. You need to reclaim your focus. And when you do, everything changes. You spent so much time trying to prove your worth to the outside world that you forgot the most important relationship, the one you have with yourself. And that relationship is the foundation of everything. The way you treat yourself in quiet moments, the words you say when no one's listening, the standards you set for your own mind and body, all of it shapes the life you live. Self-respect isn't selfish. It's essential. When you honor yourself, you build an unshakable core of confidence. You stop seeking approval because you already have it from the person who matters most, you. But when you neglect yourself, doubt creeps in. Anxiety whispers that you're not enough. Start looking outward for validation, and you hand over your power piece by piece. You deserve better than that. You deserve to treat yourself like your most valuable asset, because you are. Every thought you entertain about yourself becomes a blueprint for your reality. If you speak kindly, your brain rewires to believe it. If you practice forgiveness and patience toward yourself, your mind relaxes its grip on fear and shame. You start to move through life with grace, not struggle. But self-respect isn't about perfection. It's about honesty and commitment. It's about saying no to what drains you and yes to what fuels you. It's about recognizing your limits and honoring them without guilt. It's about holding yourself accountable with compassion, not cruelty. When you do this, you create a safe inner world where growth isn't a battle, it's a natural unfolding. You have been your harshest critic for too long, but imagine what would happen if you became your own biggest supporter, if you rooted for yourself relentlessly, if you celebrated every small win, every brave choice, every step forward. That energy would change everything. Because here's the secret. The way you treat yourself signals to your subconscious what you expect from life. If you accept less, you'll settle for less. If you believe you're worthy of greatness, you'll stop tolerating mediocrity, and your actions will reflect that belief. It starts with the little things, the way you care for your body, the boundaries you set in your relationships, the daily habits that shape your mind. When you prioritize your well-being, you build resilience against life's storms. You give yourself permission to rest without shame, to ask for help without fear, and to pursue your dreams with unwavering belief. This is not about being perfect. It's about being real, about choosing yourself when it's hard, about standing tall in your own skin even when the world tries to pull you down. Because self-respect is the armor that protects your dreams from doubt and defeat. When you build this foundation, everything else follows. Your motivation deepens, your focus sharpens, your courage multiplies. You don't just survive challenges, you thrive through them. You don't wait for permission to shine. You own your light unapologetically. So today, make a promise to yourself to speak kindly, to act with integrity, to honor your needs, and to refuse anything that diminishes your worth. Because the most powerful person you will ever fight for, fight with, and fight as is you. You are not an accident. You are not a mistake. You are a force of nature waiting to be unleashed. And the first step toward unleashing that force is simple. Respect yourself enough to choose growth every single day. You have to understand that your mind is not your enemy. It's the most powerful tool you will ever possess. But left unchecked, it can become your worst adversary, spinning stories of doubt, fear, and limitation. Those stories are not truth. They are patterns, old loops running on repeat, and you have the power to change the channel. It begins with awareness. Catch the thoughts that weigh you down before they take hold. Notice the voice that tells you you're not enough, that whispers you should give up, that convinces you that failure defines you. When you become aware, you create space to question those thoughts instead of obeying them blindly. Your thoughts are not facts. They are fleeting signals shaped by your past experiences, fears, and insecurities. But your mind can learn new patterns. It can be trained to focus on what empowers you rather than what drains you. This is neuroplasticity in action, the brain's ability to rewire itself through practice. You don't have to believe everything you think. You don't have to feed every negative voice. Instead, choose to speak to yourself like you would to someone you deeply care about, with patience, with encouragement, with compassion. Because that's the internal dialogue that builds resilience, confidence, and courage. Mental strength isn't about silencing doubt or fear. It's about leaning into them, facing those uncomfortable thoughts head on and saying, I see you, but you don't control me. That shift changes everything. You stop being a victim to your inner critic and become the author of your own story. Repetition is your ally here. The more you practice positive self-talk and mindful awareness, the more your brain builds those empowering pathways. You train yourself to rise above limiting beliefs, to choose hope over despair, and to act despite uncertainty. This isn't easy. Change never is. You will fall into old patterns. You will feel the pull of negativity. But every time you resist, you strengthen your mental muscles. You build grit. You build determination. And that determination becomes unstoppable. The mind that once trapped you becomes the mind that frees you. That mind becomes your most loyal ally in pursuit of your dreams. Remember, your thoughts shape your feelings drive your actions, and your actions build your reality. So take control of the thoughts that run your life. Guard your mental space fiercely. Fill it with beliefs that uplift, motivate, and inspire, because the quality of your thoughts determines the quality of your life. You are not powerless over your mind. You are powerful beyond measure when you learn to master it. Start today. Notice your thoughts. Challenge the negative ones. Replace them with truths that empower. Speak words that build you up. Feed your mind with focus and strength. And watch as your world begins to shift from the inside out. You have the power to change your mind, and when you do, you change everything. The people you surround yourself with shape the life you live. This is not just a cliche. It's a fundamental truth backed by science and experience. Humans are wired to mirror the attitudes, beliefs, and habits of those closest to them. If your circle is filled with doubt, negativity, or complacency, you will feel those forces pulling you down without even realizing it. But if you choose to surround yourself with people who challenge you, support your growth, and hold you to higher standards, your life will change in ways you never thought possible. Influence is invisible but powerful. It seeps into your mindset, your decisions, your energy. Every conversation, every shared moment either fuels your progress or feeds your fears. When you spend time with people who believe in possibility, who dream big, and who take action, even when it's uncomfortable, they elevate your own belief in what's possible. Their courage becomes contagious. Their determination lights a fire within you. But this means you must be intentional about who you allow into your life. It means saying no to relationships that drain your energy, that limit your vision, or that normalize settling. It means seeking out connections that inspire, challenge, and push you to be better, not because they want something from you, but because they see the greatness already inside you and refuse to let you ignore it. You deserve a tribe that lifts you higher, a community that holds space for your fears but never lets you stay stuck in them. People who celebrate your wins without jealousy and who stand beside you when the road gets tough. This kind of support is more than motivation. It's survival fuel. It helps you persist when your own willpower wavers. It reminds you that you are not alone, even in your hardest battles. But influence is a two-way street. To attract that tribe, you must become that person. You must be willing to grow, to challenge yourself, to be honest about your struggles and your aspirations. You must show up with authenticity, courage, and commitment. Because the energy you put out is the energy you receive. When you raise your standards, you attract those who meet them. When you take your growth seriously, others will too. This is the power of intentional connection. It's not about the quantity of relationships, but the quality. It's about choosing depth over surface, growth over comfort, and truth over convenience. It's about building a network that becomes your foundation in moments of doubt and your launching pad in moments of opportunity. No one builds a life alone. Even the strongest people lean on others at times. The difference is in who they choose to lean on and how they allow those influences to shape their path. If your environment isn't inspiring you, it's time to change it. If the voices around you are louder than your own dreams, it's time to quiet them. Remember, you become who you spend time with. So choose wisely. Seek out those who remind you of your potential when you forget. Find those who push you to show up fully every day. Surround yourself with fire, with light, with relentless belief. When you do this, you create an ecosystem of growth around you, a force field that protects your dreams and amplifies your power. Because greatness is not a solo journey, it's a collective evolution. You deserve to be in a space that fuels your transformation. And when you commit to that, you don't just change your life, you change the lives of everyone around you. So ask yourself, who am I choosing to become? And who am I choosing to walk with on that path? Because your answer will determine everything. You cannot grow without discomfort. The truth is, transformation is not a gentle process. It demands you lean into uncertainty, face your fears, and step beyond what feels safe. Growth does not happen in comfort zones. It happens in the space just outside them where you challenge yourself to be more than you were yesterday. Your mind will fight this. It will scream for safety, predict failure, and beg you to stay small. But what you resist persists. The harder you avoid discomfort, the more you build walls that trap you in the life you're trying to escape. You must learn to see discomfort not as a threat, but as a signpost, a signal that you are stretching, evolving, becoming stronger. Pain, struggle, uncertainty, these are not obstacles to success. They are its foundation. Every breakthrough begins with a willingness to face the hard truths about yourself and your life. It begins with courage, the courage to keep moving even when you're afraid, even when your body and mind want to quit. The greatest growth happens when you push past the urge to turn back. When you accept that discomfort is temporary, but regret lasts forever. When you remind yourself that the feeling of fear is just a visitor, not a permanent resident in your mind. When you decide that your future is worth more than your present comfort. This is not about reckless risk-taking. It's about calculated courage. It's about knowing that progress demands sacrifice, but those sacrifices pay dividends beyond what your current vision can see. When you choose growth over comfort, you choose a life of purpose over a life of ease. Every day you delay leaning into discomfort, you delay your evolution. Every time you choose the familiar over the unknown, you reinforce the patterns that hold you back. But the moment you commit to embracing the hard parts, the uncertainty, the fear, the grind, you unlock a new level of strength. Growth is a muscle. The more you exercise it, the easier it becomes to handle challenges. You become resilient, unbreakable. You develop the grit to pursue your dreams no matter the setbacks. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop wishing for easier circumstances. The moment to grow is now. In this uncomfortable space you're tempted to avoid, step into it with open eyes and a fierce heart, because that's where your future is waiting. When you start embracing discomfort, you discover a new kind of freedom, the freedom to be yourself fully, to chase your dreams relentlessly, and to live a life that reflects your highest potential. The world doesn't reward comfort seekers. It rewards those who dare to grow beyond their fears, who understand that transformation is messy, hard, and uncertain, but worth every struggle. You are capable of that kind of growth. You have the strength to face discomfort head on. You have the power to rewrite your story by choosing courage today. So ask yourself, am I willing to feel the discomfort that comes with change? Am I ready to let go of the safety net of my old habits and beliefs? Because on the other side of that discomfort is the life you've been waiting for, the life that only those who dare to grow will ever know. Your habits are the silent architects of your destiny. They shape your days, your mindset, and ultimately the person you become. What you do repeatedly, whether it feels small or insignificant, builds the foundation for your future. The question is, are your daily actions moving you closer to the life you want, or are they holding you back? Change isn't about one big leap. It's about the tiny choices you make every single day. The decision to wake up a little earlier, the choice to feed your mind with positive thoughts instead of doubts, the discipline to do what's hard even when you don't feel like it. These small, consistent actions accumulate like drops of water carving canyons over time, but consistency alone isn't enough. Your habits must serve a purpose. They must align with your deepest goals and values. When you act without intention, you risk drifting through life, caught in patterns that limit your potential. But when you cultivate habits with clarity and focus, you become unstoppable. The power of habit lies in its ability to automate your success. When you embed positive routines into your life, they become second nature. You no longer have to rely on willpower or motivation alone, which are fleeting. Instead, your habits carry you forward, even on the days when your mind screams to quit. This is why it's essential to identify the habits that no longer serve you and replace them with ones that fuel your growth. It might mean breaking free from distractions that steal your time. It might mean committing to movement that strengthens your body and mind. It might mean dedicating a few minutes each day to reflect, plan, or meditate. These changes might seem small, but their impact compounds exponentially. You have the power to rewrite your daily story, to create a rhythm that nurtures your dreams instead of draining them. This requires discipline, yes, but also compassion. You will stumble. You will fall back into old patterns. That's not failure. That's part of the process. What matters is getting back up and choosing again. The key is to focus on progress, not perfection. Celebrate every moment you show up for yourself, no matter how small. Each positive habit you build is a vote for the person you want to become. Over time, those votes add up to transformation. Imagine waking up every day knowing that your actions align with your purpose, that your routines support your goals, your health, and your peace of mind, that your habits propel you forward, giving you confidence and momentum. This is the power of intentional living. Don't underestimate the impact of what you do daily. Your habits are the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. They are the quiet force that shapes your mindset, your energy, and your results. Take control of your habits today. Choose the ones that empower you. Build them with patience and persistence. And watch as your life begins to change. Not overnight, but through steady, unstoppable momentum. The future belongs to those who master their daily habits, to those who understand that greatness is built one intentional action at a time, to those who refuse to let small moments slip by without purpose. You are capable of creating the habits that will carry you to your highest self. The only question is, what will you choose to do today that your future self will thank you for? The way you manage your time reveals what you truly value. Every minute you spend, is a vocast for what matters most in your life. Yet so often, time slips through our fingers unnoticed, lost to distractions, procrastination, and indecision. The harsh reality is that no amount of talent, opportunity, or luck can replace time once it's gone. How you choose to use your time defines the trajectory of your life. This is why mastering your time is not just a productivity hack. It's a radical act of self-respect. It's declaring that your dreams, goals, and well-being deserve your focused attention. When you learn to guard your time fiercely, you create space for what truly matters. You stop reacting to life and start designing it. The challenge is that time is invisible. It doesn't shout for attention until it's almost too late. The temptation to scroll endlessly, to say yes to every request, or to avoid uncomfortable tasks is strong. But every moment spent on what doesn't serve you is a moment taken from your potential. You owe it to yourself to break this cycle. True time mastery begins with intention. It means being deliberate about how you spend each hour, each day. It means asking yourself, does this action bring me closer to my goals? Does it nourish my mind and body? Does it align with who I want to become? If the answer is no, you have permission to let it go. Learning to say no is one of the most powerful tools in reclaiming your time. It's not selfish, it's necessary. Every no is a yes to your priorities. Saying no to distractions, to unnecessary commitments, and to toxic habits creates room for growth, creativity, and rest. It frees your energy to focus on what fuels your passion and progress. Planning your day with intention transforms your time from chaotic to purposeful. When you set clear priorities and realistic goals, you build momentum. You create a rhythm where action leads to progress, and progress fuels motivation. This structure doesn't restrict freedom, it amplifies it by removing the anxiety of wasted time. But time mastery also requires compassion. There will be days when life throws curveballs, when distractions win and motivation fades. That's part of being human. What matters is your commitment to return to your intentions, to treat yourself with kindness and keep moving forward. Remember, the way you spend your time is the story you tell yourself about what matters. If you fill your days with urgency but no purpose, you'll feel exhausted and unfulfilled. But if you invest your time in meaningful actions aligned with your values, every day becomes a step toward your best self. Imagine the power of a day lived intentionally, where every moment contributes to your growth, your peace, your dreams, where distractions fade and focus sharpens, where you end the day knowing you've moved closer to what you want most. This is within your reach. Time is the most democratic resource we have. Everyone gets the same 24 hours. What separates those who succeed from those who don't is how they choose to use those hours. You can choose to be intentional, disciplined, and focused, or you can let time slip away in a blur of distraction and regret. The choice is yours. Protect your time as you would your most precious possession. Invest it wisely, purposefully, and without apology, because how you manage your time today shapes the legacy you leave tomorrow. You have the power to own your time, to make it work for you, not against you, to build a life defined by purpose, progress, and fulfillment. And it all begins with the choices you make in this very moment. Your mindset is the lens through which you experience every moment. It colors your perceptions, shapes your reactions, and ultimately determines the quality of your life. A fixed mindset traps you in limitations and excuses, whispering that you are defined by your past, your failures, or what others say about you. But a growth mindset opens a door to endless possibility. It tells you that your potential is not set in stone, that you can learn, adapt, and rise above every challenge. The power of your mindset lies in its ability to influence your beliefs and actions. When you believe that you can improve, you approach obstacles with curiosity and resilience instead of fear and defeat. You see failures not as dead ends, but as stepping stones. This shift transforms your entire relationship with struggle, making you stronger, wiser, and more determined. Changing your mindset is not about ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing to focus on what empowers you rather than what holds you back. It's about recognizing the stories you tell yourself and questioning whether they serve your growth or limit it. You have the ability to reframe your thoughts, to challenge negative self-talk, and to replace doubt with belief. The mind is like a muscle. It grows stronger with use. The more you practice positive, growth-oriented thinking, the more natural it becomes. This doesn't mean you will never feel fear or insecurity. It means you learn to acknowledge those feelings without letting them control you. You develop the courage to act despite uncertainty because you trust in your ability to figure things out along the way. Your mindset is also deeply connected to your emotions. When you cultivate optimism and gratitude, you activate neural pathways that boost your motivation and creativity. When you dwell on negativity and limitation, you strengthen patterns that drain your energy and paralyze your progress. The choice of where to focus your attention is one of the most powerful decisions you make daily. This is why self-awareness is critical. Pay attention to your inner dialogue. Notice when your thoughts lean toward defeat and consciously redirect them toward possibility. Surround yourself with affirmations that inspire you. Seek out knowledge that expands your understanding. Immerse yourself in environments that nurture growth. Remember, the quality of your mindset determines the quality of your actions. You cannot act with confidence if you believe you are not capable. You cannot persist through setbacks if you see them as proof you should quit. But when you commit to developing a resilient, empowered mindset, you unlock a wellspring of strength you didn't know you had. Imagine waking up each day with a mind primed for success, a mind that sees challenges as opportunities, setbacks as lessons, and potential as limitless. This mindset fuels every decision, every action, and every dream with unstoppable energy. No one can change your mindset for you. It's an inside job, a commitment you make to yourself to believe in growth, to embrace discomfort, and to keep moving forward no matter what. This is the foundation of transformation. The world will test your mindset every day. Doubts will creep in. Fear will try to hold you back. But if you stand firm in your belief that you can evolve, you will break free from old patterns and create a new reality. Your mindset is your most powerful tool. Sharpen it, guard it, use it to build the life you were meant to live. Because everything starts with the way you think and the courage to think differently. Your environment shapes your mindset and your habits more than you realize. The people you surround yourself with, the spaces you inhabit, the influences you allow into your life, they all quietly mold your thoughts, emotions, and actions. If you want to change your life, you must first take control of your environment. It's not just about external aesthetics or comfort. It's about creating a world around you that supports your highest ambitions and deepest values. When your environment is cluttered, chaotic, or toxic, it drains your energy and distracts your focus. It pulls you into negativity, doubt, and distraction. It whispers that you are not enough, that your goals are too big, that change is impossible. But when you curate an environment filled with positivity, encouragement, and inspiration, it lifts you up. It fuels your drive and nurtures your courage. Your environment includes the people you spend time with. Are they supportive? Do they challenge you to grow or keep you stuck in comfort? Are they honest with you or do they enable excuses? The truth is, you become like the 5 people you surround yourself with most. If you want to raise your standards, you must raise the bar for your company. Seek out those who believe in your potential, who hold you accountable, who inspire you to be better every day. This also means creating physical spaces that align with your goals. Clear out clutter that weighs on your mind. Design your surroundings to encourage focus and creativity. A clean, organized space is a reflection of a clear, organized mind. When your environment supports your habits and intentions, you waste less energy resisting distractions and more energy building your dreams. Your environment also extends to what you consume, what you watch, read, listen to, and engage with. Are these sources of inspiration, knowledge, and growth? Or do they feed your fears, doubts, and distractions? Protect your mind by choosing carefully what you allow in. Fill your days with content that empowers, educates, and uplifts you. Your thoughts are shaped by what you consume, so guard this gate with intention. Change begins with awareness. Notice how your current environment affects your energy and mindset. Identify what lifts you up and what pulls you down. Then take action to create boundaries. Say no to toxic relationships, to distractions, to anything that dims your light. Create rituals that bring you peace, clarity, and strength. The environment you build is the foundation for your transformation. It is a silent partner in your journey, working for you or against you every day. By consciously shaping your surroundings, you give yourself the greatest gift, a life designed for success. Imagine waking up every day in a space that inspires you, surrounded by people who believe in you, consuming ideas that expand your mind. This environment makes your goals feel possible, even inevitable. It creates momentum so powerful that setbacks become temporary and motivation becomes effortless. You cannot separate your environment from your progress. To become the person you want to be, you must first create the conditions for that person to thrive. This is not just a physical change, it's a mindset shift. It's claiming your right to live in a world that supports your dreams, not suffocates them. You have the power to build this environment. It starts with small decisions, choosing who you spend time with, what you let into your mind, how you organize your space. These choices compound, creating a powerful ecosystem for growth. Your environment is your secret weapon. Use it wisely, shape it with intention and courage. Because when your world supports your vision, nothing can stop you.